Hi, my name is Peter Ogden, and this is a very special occasion, being the 50th anniversary of the Ogden Trust. So today we are encouraging students to take up physics many different ways. Obviously, a direct route is to help them in their funding, whether it be undergraduate scholarships, sixth form scholarships, but we also have a much bigger program where we now obviously encourage teachers to go back into teaching physics. And even more important, we are running regional groupings of schools who are obviously coming together to encourage the studying of physics. So we may have a direct impact program, but our indirect program, the number of children who've been through our programs is quite staggering.
I've worked with the Ogden Trust for many years now, both when I was full-time teaching, but also as director of the National Space Academy programme. And I think the reason why we've worked so closely and so effectively together is that at our core of our rationales, we have the same foci. And I think there are twofold. One is that qualifications in physics, especially, but the sciences generally, are the most valuable currency you can have in the educational landscape. They open doors of opportunity that you don't know exist, and I'm not just talking about doors of financial reward. You know, that's the sort of thing we talk about when it comes down to economic development, but it goes far more than that. They are genuinely empowering.
With primary children, they need to be infused, inspired by good teachers. They need to be doing fun, practical investigations. Science is all about inquiry. Children are naturally curious. So why would you teach that by worksheets and on the board? They've got to be doing.
The Phys Lab really helps us to run the activities that we do because it's a purpose-built, set-aside school, fully equipped laboratory with all the equipment that you need to teach primary or secondary physics and science in general. Actually, we have gas, we have water, we have everything that we need, and that just because it's a space that's set aside for this, it means it can be kept in a really good condition. It's not used day to day for normal lessons. We make sure the displays are really engaging and really interesting, so when anybody comes in here, whether you're a pupil or whether you're a teacher, you're immediately aware that you're in a learning environment and it inspires you. So that's the first step really. And the other thing is it just gives us the freedom to run activities at different times of the day, sometimes in school time, sometimes after school, and we're not sort of constrained by having to fit in with the school timetable.
Now a Phys Lab turns the whole idea of science teaching in a primary school around. If you can picture a primary school teacher teaches every subject in their same classroom every day. The way we've turned this around now is teachers will walk their class along to a Phys Lab. So the children are actually entering into a science environment. When a child enters a Phys Lab, they put on a white lab coat, they are a scientist, they become a scientist, and they're actually transported back to their last science lesson. It actually helps with the continuation and progression of their learning because they remember that last lesson in the Phys Lab. The teacher can then pose a question, an investigation at the start of the lesson, and the children then select what they would like to use for that lesson. So it's much more working scientifically, pupil-led inquiry. So Phys Lab, we have found, not only is it a great venue for science learning to happen, but it's a visual stimulus, wall displays, ceiling displays, tabletop displays. There's a science vocab wall, children's quotes hanging from the ceiling. The children are just immersed in science all around.
You know, for the opportunities for so many primary school students to come in to use a facility like this, but more importantly to use a facility like this in partnership with secondary outstanding teaching colleagues, it's a win-win. Now, it's the sort of thing that on paper seems obvious, but there are so few initiatives like this around where the resourcing has been given, and as importantly, not just to set them up, but the resourcing has been given along with a programme that will support students and support teachers. You know, it's an absolute diamond, and it's so beautifully elegant as a principle. When you see the programmes that the Phys Lab are doing and have planned, it's the sort of thing that we would want to see across the country.
Not only is it great for the primary teachers to have this local supportive network to work in, but they are also exposed to specialist science teachers, and I'm able to do that through our fantastic network of Ogden Teacher Fellows. So physicists who are able to support their primary colleagues. One of the main benefits for primary teachers being part of an Ogden partnership is the support, having colleagues to throw ideas around, gain best practice. So the science coordinators in primary schools need to have regular access to good quality continuing professional development in order to sustain their knowledge of science. Things change in the curriculum. We have the new primary science curriculum, and some of the aspects, particularly in year 6, for a non-specialist to teach is actually very tricky.
I'm lucky, I've got a physics degree and I'm a specialist teacher of physics, but I'm just so aware that there are many teachers around there who teach science in secondary schools and they just haven't got that background, and they do struggle with it, and sometimes they need a bit of help. And I really feel that they should get that help to enable every student to have a positive experience of physics in their secondary school. The Ogden Partnership is a really brilliant scheme that allows secondary schools to work together to do things that they just wouldn't really have the resources to do on their own. So the Ogden Partnership that we're the hub school for here at King Edward VI Fiveways funds joint activities. For example, every year for the past 3 years we've run a joint trip to CERN. We're lucky enough to have a big sixth form at our school with many students who want to go there. We work with another local school where they only have a handful of A-level physicists. So we work together and those children come with our larger group, and it benefits everybody really. The other really benefit of the partnership system is getting teachers together. So as teachers we can share ideas, we can form professional networks, and that just benefit us all really and enrich our teaching back in our own schools.
I studied for my physics degree at Liverpool University, and for the last 20 years we've been going to a physics Olympics at Liverpool University for sixth formers in October, and I've taken teams for 20 years. Every year without fail they've had a fantastic time. I kept coming back to York thinking wouldn't it be great to do something, and did that every year, and then finally 9 years ago we actually went ahead and did it. So it's a fun event, but also there's an element of competition in it. We have 6 challenges throughout the day. In each challenge there's a measurement to be made, so the teams are ranked from 1 to 35 in each event, and then we put all the results together to get the overall gold, silver and bronze winners in the true spirit of the Olympics.
It's great. I think it's a really good scheme. I in fact did it when I was back their age and really enjoyed it. It really gave me a way to see what physics is like. It shows you about our science department at St Peter's as the Olives children come up, and these children are all younger. They get to talk to the sixth form students like myself and the teachers, and they get exposed to other ideas that they wouldn't normally do outside of their usual physics lessons, which is great.
The advantage of an event like this is that in the classroom a lot of the practical work is prescriptive. They're just doing it to find out what the teacher wants them to find out. In this sort of game they can be innovative and they can put into practice the theory that they've taught into sort of like an engineering situation. So we find the competitive element really encourages, brings out the best in them.
In promoting physics in a whole range of different ways, one of the flagship programmes is the School's Physicist of the Year Award, which recognises the talent and the achievements and the hard work of students. So schools are invited to nominate a chosen student. They submit the reasons that they feel this student deserves an award, and then the students are invited to a big celebration event, and they are each given a certificate and a £25 book token. And it's a really nice opportunity for them to be able to have their efforts recognised. So I think the School's Physicist of the Year Award really encourages students to consider physics as a very real possibility at undergraduate level. And it's lovely as well in a lot of schools for the sixth formers to be celebrated for what they've achieved. It acts as role models for the younger students and can inspire them to continue to study physics, whether it's to sixth form, whether it's beyond that, which is great. But I also think there's a whole range of different initiatives and working with children right the way through their schooling, all the way through to sixth form, is just promoting physics at every point. So I think it's really important to have links between schools and universities. Universities, particularly in more challenged communities, can have a very ivory tower feel about them, with people often not having an opportunity to go in prior to actually applying. So by having a whole range of activities, whether it's linking directly with the school and bringing school groups in, or whether it's working with families or the public, to be able to break down those barriers, to be able to show some of the exciting opportunities that lie at university level that perhaps aren't available at school level in terms of cutting edge research and all sorts of exciting equipment that can be used. To be able to show them role models, people who have come from backgrounds like their own, so enabling them to meet a range of different students that are here and studying and find out what they enjoy about physics or what they enjoy about student life is really, really valuable.
Kids never cease to amaze you with their capabilities, and if we can give them a greater bedrock of skills at primary level, that they really will fly even higher when we put them at secondary level and then into university or into the workforce.
I've been involved with the Ogden Trust for about 5 years, and one of the main things that it's brought is just having a group of people who are as enthusiastic about physics as I am, and I feel that they've created a real family atmosphere, and I get all the encouragement that I need to put on this sort of event.
You know, I think it's very hard to have a long-term goal that says that, you know, what would I dream of? The great dream would be a student in a primary school who went through our programs. We helped them in their university education, they did a PhD, and they won a Nobel Prize. Then I would say I've achieved something really special.